Hey everyone, Egman here with another video. Today we're going to look at the Green World Martial Arts Tournament leader in this set. It's one of my the leaders I keep going back to. I really want to get the hand control archetype to work with this leader, and just the fact that we also need the new power booster cards. I think that's important too from the World Martial Arts stuff. So I really want to make this work. And before we get started, this is probably going to be my last IRL deck profile I do for a while, but I really want to know what you guys think about this style versus having DBS decks or Shenron's Lair in the background. I don't know which people prefer. I feel like this version, the IRL version, you get a little bit more context about what cards I'm talking about, and but on the other hand, you don't get to see what the effects of the cards do, or the full list until the end. So let me know what you guys think. I'll probably make a poll on my channel as well. But that aside, and also the deck list is always in the description too. That's a priority of me, just because I want to make sure if people just want that deck, then you totally can. I don't want you to have to watch through my videos and whatever random ads YouTube puts on there just to see a 50 card list, right? I want that right away. So with all that aside, what does this leader do? Not a lot, honestly. So auto, when this card attacks the leader card, draw one, and then it's awaken for 2, untap 2 energy when your life is at 4 or less. So really basic in that sense, but on the awakening side, it's still pretty basic. Both their autos are once per turns, and I feel like one of them, either of them could have been not once per turn. This leader would have been a little bit better, but so the first one is that when this card attacks, it gains plus 5k power for duration of the turn, and you get to draw 1. And then the other one is when this card KOs a battle card, switches to active mode. So I wish the draw 1 plus 5k wasn't once per turn. I think it would have been cool to be able to swing with a 20k onto one of your opponent's cards, make them pressure, and make them kind of either overcommit to the defense for it because they know that this gets to untap, and then you get to be able to draw another card in a swing. But that's, since it's just one, it's not super worth it. Even if you don't KO the card, what are you gonna do? Swing at their leader again? It only this is only beneficial if they have 2 cards you need to swing into. So that aside, overwrite leader with skills, but it does enable a lot with just its color and typing and such. So let's go into the main combo. So this is kind of a win condition, but it's not you don't need to do this every game. It's just kind of a nice thing to do. So how this works is that you've got so we've got hero here. And this is really convoluted almost, just the setup, I feel in so many ways. But so Destined Conclusion Hero says it's a 3-drop with barrier. It's a Earthling God World Tournament, which is important for later. But when Destined Conclusion Piccolo Jr. is played from your hand, if your leader card is a green World Tournament, this card gains plus 10k power and critical for duration of the turn. Then your opponent chooses 3 cards from their hand and places them in their drop area. You cannot place cards from your opponent's hand in their drop area using Destined Conclusion Hero skill for duration of the turn. So which means that if you have 2 of these stacked out and you play a Piccolo, you don't drop them down 6, you only drop down 3. So which is all right, but I wish I don't think it'd be broken if that was the case. And I think the biggest thing is that all this stuff is missing a broken thing. All these are kind of fair, which means they're okay, but they're not competitive in some senses, right? But so there's that, and then we've got the 5-drop Piccolo. That's a 20k critical. It really sucks that it's 20k because this can just be denial of hope. So a 5-drop getting hit by a 2-cost extra card feels real bad. But when this card attacks, choose up to 1 of each of yours and your opponent's battle cards and KO them. If you KO'd a Destined Conclusion Hero as your battle card, duration turn, this gets plus 10k and triple strike. So it's a 30k triple strike, and you get to blow up 1 of your opponent's cards in this and your hero. That's kind of sucky because you kind of want to have this card out, so next turn you can drop another Piccolo and go off, but that's not the case. So not too bad, but just being able to pressure your opponent with crits and hand destruction feels really good, especially for keeping them kind of low hand cost as it is. So there's that, and then we also have this 1-drop that came from the power booster, and really the only support, or one of 2 supports for this. So it's a 1-drop World Tournament Namekian God. Active main for 4 green energy specifically, which sucks. If your leader card is a World Tournament card and you have 5 or more energy, and it looks like it'd be open-ended because it says World Tournament card, but these cards don't even work without a green World Martial Arts Tournament card, so I don't even know why they did that. But and then you also have to 4 specific green, it's crazy. And if you have 5 or more energy. So even though this is 4, you can't cheese out like, play this awaken untap 2 and use 4. You have to wait till turn 5 anyways. Choose one card in your life and place it in your drop area, then choose up to 1 distant conclusion hero from your deck, play it on top of this card, and shuffle your deck. If you played a card, choose up to 1 distant conclusion Piccolo from your hand and play it. So this evolves from deck, and then from hand you play this. So it's the same thing there. It's a little clunky because like you have to keep this in your deck, but you also have this in your hand. And sometimes if you're named Egman, you forget which one's which, and then you totally screw it up. But and especially like I don't know, it's a weird combo. It's just being able to like put pressure on your opponent if they allow you to. But really, this is just like the ends of the game, right? Like if you're just being really grindy, it should be just the nail in the coffin in a lot of sense. So that's just kind of like the way we kind of finish games. But the ways we kind of get grindy and make your opponent have a rough time is that 1, we play some multicolored cards. We're playing 4 Brolys and 3 of the Son Goku and Piccolo. Pretend this is Son Goku and Piccolo because I only have 2 right now. But this is just the fact that we just need 1 multicolored card in our energy, and so that's how we start the game. We put 1 of them in there, and then we've got multicolor for the rest of the game. And this is really what kind of lets you tech in other cards, is the fact that you can still have your 4 specific green, but you still have 1 red energy ready to do stuff. So that helps out a lot. And then also this card is fantastic, being able to gain a lot of value. We'll go into it later. So it's if you swing with this card, it has Alliance, and if you put a Gohan in rest mode with it, you get critical and you get to draw 2 cards. So that's a really good swing and can put a lot of pressure on your opponent. So there's that, and then since we're running multicolored cards, why not run the broken multi-counters? So we've got 4 Vegeta the Cruel, because this one can just be obnoxious in so many ways. You play it, you KO one of your opponent's cards, and you have to warp. They have to warp a card from their hand. So that just does a lot. It feels bad to do that, and just a lot of stuff happens. And then Mach Speed Kaioken Son Goku, just a little bit more. Since we're running red already, this card's okay in some situations. Vegeta's almost better in every one of them, but this can get rid of Universe 6 Kaba stuff. So I definitely would run a couple more on the side, but it has its place to shine as well. Going into our 1-drops, we're running 4 Son Gohan Adolescents. If I was to choose one of the 2 of these that I like the most, I'd probably like this one more, just because you get the immediate card draw. You can play this on turn 1 going first and still get advantage, and then pressure or turn 2 going into that. Sure, these can get blown up, but just the fact that you can get your immediate card draw, and also if you're not charging multicolor, you can do that. And then also the fact that this card, I don't know, being able to self-awaken is nice, but we really don't need to self-awaken for anything in this deck. It's not a really big priority. We get a little bit more pressure, but it's almost better being able to swing on your opponent and they're not, them not being able to plus a card when you do so. Just really helps out your card economy and being able to grind them out. So that's pretty good. Being able to use 2 green to make it a 15k crit is fine. It's a little obnoxious that you have to spend 2 green to do so, and then they can just negate it with 1 energy, but it's not too bad. And so and this card paired up with 2-drop Goku feels good though, and being able to just use this to make it a 30k crit. If you use your 2 energy and then you use Son Goku and swing with both, you have a 30k crit that also draws you 2 cards. So there's that. You also have 4 of these Trading Blows Son Gokus. This is fantastic. It's one of the best things about this archetype is you have this 1-drop that says, hey, just pitch a card as long as you have 5 or more in hand, right? Yeah, 5 or more. So which is pretty easy to do, and then just kind of gets card advantage by making them not have card advantage, and can put them in some really tight spots. So just the fact that having less cards in hand mean they have less options is usually better than you having more cards in hand with more options. So there's that. We're running 2 Urgent Aid Commies just because they're green and they're gods, which makes sense later. But just the fact that this can be helpful in some decks that untap energy. Worst case, you can just kind of use it as a filler turn. I would use this, add a couple more of these in our decks just because, once again, Universe 6 Kaba can kind of make this deck go feel bad, but it's not too bad. So next up, we've got 3 of these unlikely duo Son Gokus and also 3 of these Piccolo special beam cannon. I'm not sure if I want to up these ratios at all, but these are really cool. This card is great, especially in hand destruction, because you can play this and then you can blow up like a Tau, right? Which is like the biggest thing for this deck. So that's fantastic on its own. This card can search a lot more than just this. It can search any of our combo pieces. They're all either Earthling or Namekian, and then there are just a couple cards from here as well. So you can even find like the 2-drop Goku Piccolo because it's still Namekian, and have that, and you can also search this. I'm not sure if I want to bump this up to 4 and 4. It might be something I want to consider moving forward, just because this can be like a really oppressive turn 3 play, but I'm not really sure yet. It's been fine at 3 and 3. And you can increase if you want. And then for our super combo, we have 4 of these Bulmas right here. So it's a bit of a debate on which super combo you think is better. This one is good because it's Earthling, and also you're able to it's 1 life earlier, which kind of catches people off guard sometimes. Since this goes off on 5 life, if there was a sparking one that made sense, I'd definitely put this in in the deck, but there are no green combo sparkings that are either Earthling or Namekian, so we're just going to use this. The Chi-Chi from the World Martial Arts Tournament set also is like the same thing as this, so that's something to do. I also thought about Paragus just because we can have some cards that are just kind of stuck in our hand because they are either like extra cards or they're multicolored cards, so that's an option too, but nothing too crazy. And but yeah, good super combo, and once again it can be searched with the 3-drop Goku. And then we've got 4 Shocking Death Ball, just because we like running negates, and then also 2 Heroes Mafuba. This card, we have so many gods in this deck. Pretty much this entire combo is this a god? No. So these guys are gods, and then also we've got the 1-drop Ultimate Kami, Urgent Aid Kami. Jeez, this one. Where do you go? There's God. So these are all gods. Which means that this is pretty easily valid, and especially in like like post Bad Ring Laser meta, this card can just do a lot of damage to like an opponent that's wanting to go off. Like especially like once again, Universe 6 Kaba, if they swing with Champa and Vados, you can play this Heroes Mafuba on top of it, and then like they're pretty much done for the turn because they usually don't have like enough energy to go off from there. So that feels really good, and just a great card. So. That's all 50 from there, and pretty much real quick going through the how this deck performs. So turn 1, you normally want to charge a multicolored card. So we'll say we put Broly in our energy, and then turn 2, we should pretty much charge green from the rest of the game. So if you have multicolored cards, that makes sense to do it. And obviously, turn 1, if you have one of the non-Brolys, like one of these Son Gokus, you want to charge that instead, because this can always be put in our energy for free. Also, just playing this for 2 energy is not a bad play, because it's a free discard from your opponent's hand too. So there's that. And then turn 2, so let's say this is our energy. You just pretty much want to hold off there, unless you feel like they can, they're not going to do anything. If you're playing like Shenron Gogeta and they're not going to summon anything, I'd wait and then counterplay Vegeta the Cruel. Being able to just ping them from there feels really good. And then on 3 energy, what you do, you have a couple options on turn 3. So 1, you can go through Unlikely Duo Son Goku and play this, do that little cute thing. You could also just play a 1-drop like this, any of these guys, and then you have 2 energy open, so you can still do counterplay stuff. So if you have one of those in your hand, that's an option for you as well. And then also you could just play one of these with the Gohan, and then draw 3 cards for 3 energy and have a 15k crit going into your opponent's face. This one I'd say is a little bit more aggressive, so make sure it's in the right deck that you do that. And then also you can do that's pretty much it. You can just play Hero for free if you think they're not going to do anything. If you feel safe to tap out, you can do this on turn 3. I don't super recommend it, but it's good for just having this on the field. If you're playing against something like Red, where they can kind of like screw up the combo, I'd say it's a good way to do it. And if you need a sticky Heroes Mafuba target on the field, it's fine, but I'd say that's like a rarer move. So there's that. And then turn 4, a little bit more of the same. If if you want to keep 4 energy open, you can play like a 2-drop, such as you can just like play a bunch of 1-drops. You can play like a Broly for 2 and make them discard a card and just have 2 energy open, and all that. And then turn 5 is kind of like the combo play. You don't want to awaken until turn 5 at the latest, just because you want to be able to do your normally I'd say that more often I do use the 1-drop Kami. So you'd want to do like this, and then use pay 4 and go from there, and then you tap out, and then you can awaken, and then you untap 2, which means you still have energy open for counterplay stuff. And assumingly your opponent will have like next to no hand at this point, assuming they don't have a way to either do that. Like I'd say like probably Baby's like this deck's worst matchup, just because it has a lot of options to the cards you're playing, but it's not too terrible. It's just really obnoxious in a lot of ways. So there's that, and then you just go from there. It's supposed to just be a really grindy match. Pretty much just restrict all of your opponent's options, make them feel bad for playing cards, and just really just go from there. So that's this deck. Let me know what you guys think about it. I think it's has some potential. I definitely think like the Hurrigarden deck I played the other day is a lot better. But I just as a deck for all these cards, I think it's fantastic, and probably like the best version of this archetype we've really had. So that's gonna be it for me. Thank you guys so much for watching. Let me know what you guys think about this style, this deck, and I'll catch you all next time.